Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our Monday morning trading room. Hold on here a second. My charts are just loading. And Ray is going to be hosting the room here this morning. In the meantime, I will show you what's going on here on my charts as Ray gets ready. We're going to make sure that everything is working before I turn him loose on you. No, you'll have fun with Ray. All right. So taking a look here at the overnight and the daily, this being the daily, what's most significant to me is, well, we've breached this 8,000 zone. Rather significant looking bar, but what's going on with the volume? I guess it's not terrible volume, but you would think on a breakout we would see a little bit more. Well, now we have the same kind of deal going on as we are testing contract highs. So it looks like the market may try to do a breakout, a retest, and then one of these. And of course, at this point, we're going to have the market in a bit of a bind. Just like we see on the Eagle, we got the same thing going on here right now with the Nasdaq. Well, I'm assuming Ray's going to be focusing on the Nasdaq. Maybe he's got a different market he would like to show you. I just find that dollar for dollar, the Nasdaq is it's a pretty tough market to beat in my book. First in sync signal here on the Eagle. Looks like it just, was that it? Right on the opening buzzer, a couple of seconds after the opening buzzer. It looks like that one working out very well. And likewise here on the Raptor, oh no, that number 3 signal occurring, oh no, right on the opening buzzer as well. It looks as though from the timestamps below, you would have had to be pretty quick to get on board there. Not a lot of time to make up your mind about that signal, but it did work out all the same, even if you were a few seconds late getting into it. And now we're producing a number 2 signal to short. So the market, a typical Monday, trying to find its bearings. Right now, I would have to say we're a little bit more bullish than we are bearish. Strong little rally, maybe look for a chance to buy again on a pullback of sorts. Okay, a little bit of a pause. Like I said, when you have these, oh, I wonder. We've got a bullish market here. It's always so tempting just to buy in to a bull market, especially if it hits a little bit of a sideways range. Why is that, you say? Well, because the market's going to have a tendency to resume the trend sooner or later. I'm wondering if that's enough sideways range if I want to look to buy in. Darn it. Well, let's see what else we have going on here. Do we have a, well, we're going to get a trend change signal here on the Falcon. Very early, I'm not a big fan of the early signal, but might take a look at that signal. And I've just anticipated where that signal is going to print. It hasn't printed yet. And see if we can get some of that early upside momentum. If you want to swing for the fences, the next reasonable target would be that support, or pardon me, resistance line right up there. Oh, I think I can hear Ray in the background.
Yes, that would be me, and I am definitely going to mute my phone because it's obnoxious.
All your lady friends phoning you all the time.
Yeah, no, I don't really have any of those. Yeah, I kind of just, I don't know, stay to myself.
All right, can we get a sound check? Can everyone hear Ray all right? Can anybody hear Ray besides me? Yes, okay, there we go. All right, so we're gonna try doing the changing over presenters here. Let me know when you're ready, Ray, and I'll flip over the screens to you and you can try to do your screen share.
Yeah, go ahead and flip it over to me, Eric, and then we will go from there.
All right.
All right. Oh, yeah, here we are. Show my screen when ready. Let's see. Let's make sure we get the right screen. Let's see here. Let's see. I'll tell you what. Let's just do this. I'm gonna. Oh wait, here we go. No. Where's the little doodad so I show the right screen here?
It's under the sharing option, and you click the drop down for screen, and it will throw a big little fuzzy window around the screen that you're going to share.
Okay, we don't want that. There's the one we want. We want that guy right there.
Hooray!
Oh, yay. Okay. Who knew GoToWebinar was so complicated to remember? All right.
Oh, it is. It's not user friendly, or at least I don't think so.
Who knew? Who knew? All right, let me do this. I think I've got everything here that I need, Eric. And then as far as the chat goes, it's in the chat box, correct? I just don't see anything in there yet.
It's in the questions box. Do you have a questions box, a Q&A?
Let's see. I've got attendees. I've got chat.
Maybe in the, oh, you know what? I bet you, oops, one sec here, as we sort this out. Yeah, why do I still have the Q&A window? Yeah, okay, in your view button on the top, make sure that you have the questions box highlighted. There should be a check mark beside questions.
Let's see, view. I've got audience view. Let's see here. Get the okay. All right, I got that. Let's see, and you said in the view. Let me find.
Yeah, on the top, your menu bar, you've got File, Options, View.
Okay. File, Options, View. And then I've got to make sure I've got attendees, audience view, chat.
Make sure questions is highlighted as well.
I don't have questions available to highlight.
Okay, so you'll probably get it when I log out. So why don't I log out and log back in, and hopefully that will make you the presenter.
All right, yeah, let's see what happens there. If not, we'll just we'll have a big gab fest today. It'll be great.
All right, well, people can see your charts anyways. All right, I'll be right back. It's all you.
Hey, how was everybody doing today? Hope everybody's well. Another week. And Eric will be doing the other weeks. And let's see here. Here we are. There's the questions box. Perfect. Ryman, how are you? Sure. Hey, guys, I'll let all these things filter in. And let me just get this sucker figured out here. Bear with me just a sec. There's got to be a way to There's gotta be a way to make that bigger. Bear with me just a second here. Okay, so it looks like you guys can hear me okay. That's great. Hang on just a sec. Oh, come on now. What's this do? Ooh, unlock the pane from the control panel. Why don't we try that? Ah, there we are. Now I can see everything. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Let's see. Floyd Coleman. Holy smokes. How are you, sir? Keith, how are you? Thank you, Ryman. Yeah, I've been away for a little while. Aspen asking, can I introduce myself? Well, I'm Ray Burke, and you're not. I'm a Capricorn. I don't date. My favorite color is blue, and I like cats. Anyway, I'm kidding. So my name is Ray Burke, and oh gosh, I got started trading. Probably back in early 2008. So I've kind of been at this for a while. A couple of years back, decided to take a break from trading, and I did just that. I literally didn't look at a chart for a couple of years. Just needed a break. Trading can be stressful. You've really got to know what your personal limitations are and where you're at psychologically when it comes to this game. And I tell you honestly, I was just kind of ready for a change. I'm one of the, I like to call myself a helper in the development of DTS. So, everything that you guys are seeing right here, every single one of these products prior to release had my eyes on it for at least 6 months. Some of the products even more. This is, you guys all know that, this is Eric's algorithm. I helped with, we put a few tweaks on it. I'm a big fan of Ronco bars. And when we first started, thinking about putting DTS out there, I just find it easier visually to follow and understand what the market's doing with Ronco bars than I do with time-based charts. Now, I think time-based charts do have their place. I don't use them anymore, but that's a little bit of my background. So
did it work? Did you get the chat window?
Yeah, I think so. I do. I've got it right here in front of me, Eric. I'm good to go.
All right.
I am good to go on that. So let's see. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, go ahead, throw them at me. And then I'm kind of going to break into, what I'm going to be doing the weeks that I'm in there. Hopefully you guys will be excited about it. I know I am. So if there's any questions or anything like that, throw them out there.
I mentioned before you got into the room that maybe people, there might be markets that you like to focus on. I've kind of got everybody under the Nasdaq tent just because that's my personal favorite. But I know, you've dabbled in a few others, and oil, and maybe the E-mini or whatever. But at any rate, folks, don't be shy.
Yeah, Eric, they're absolutely right. I was primarily a CL trader for a number of years. I too have since kind of switched back to the Nasdaq. I like the way it moves. I like the risk aspect of it. As far as $5 a tick. I myself, these days are I'm following the Nasdaq.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think personally, it's a good little market. Well, not so little, but you know what I mean. For $5 a tick, it's pretty tough to beat.
It is. It really is. And I'll tell you, risk-wise, I mean, it's right up my alley. So I'm very, I've been pleased with it. I've been, watching it. I started to step back into trading a few months ago. Excuse me. And I like the way that this market moves. I really do. Gives you a few, pretty nice moves throughout the day. Pretty easy to follow. The thing I like about it most is it's not too slow and it's not too fast. When I started trading the CL, average slippage on my trades, I'm going to say the average was at least 5 to 7 ticks.
Yeah.
Using, buy stops and sell stops. Got a lot of slippage out of that these days. Oil, I mean, I've looked at it, but I don't really spend a whole lot of time with it anymore, because I mean, really, I just don't have the desire to trade it anymore. So
Yeah, crude isn't the market it used to be, that's for sure. And I was actually working with a fellow, and he was telling me he wanted to trade crude, and he was routinely getting slipped 8 ticks on an order. And
yeah,
that's just nuts.
yeah, it's very common. It's very common, and I don't know where I read it. I'm not going to claim this saying, but I read it somewhere years ago where a guy says, "Oh, I'm not successful, trading the ES." Well, then, trade something else. Trade something else, work with something else that really, that suits your personality more. I think what you guys will find is, I've been watching Eric here over the last couple of weeks, and I see what he does, and I do things a little bit different. I do a lot of the things I do them the same. And I mean, really, that's the unique thing about this business, is really you can do what's going to suit you and what's going to serve, your own interest best. And I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. I mean, I can tell you, until I'm blue in the face, that XYZ, let's say a breakout trade. Oh, they never work. They never work. Well, maybe they work for you. And the thing about it is, it's to listen to yourself and not listen to other people. You've got to do what works for you. And oh, here we go. We're jumping up there again, it looks like.
Yeah, gonna retest those highs.
Oh, yeah.
See if they can get any giddy up.
Let's take a look here. All right, so one of the things I do, guys, I'm a huge fan of Top Step Trader. Given my experience that I had when I was with with Indicator Warehouse, I did a little time in another room as well. One of the things that I find that a lot of traders have in common is lack of capital. So Top Step, what they do, if you can pass their combine, they will fund you. Now, it's for me, I've had to make a lot of adjustments to kind of get on board with those guys. But what I'm going to be doing here, and I'm just going to bring this puppy up here real quick. Da, 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 da. All right, yeah. So I wanted to bring this guy up right here. This is my the data provider that they give me. This is Rhythmic. And what I wanted to do is I kind of wanted to bring this up and show you guys what I'm going to be doing when I'm in here with you guys. Is I'm really going to be going out of my way to take trades for my combine, and I'm starting with a $50,000 account. Okay, and I'm going to go over some of the rules and all that other stuff. Scott, I'll tell you, that's an interesting question you put up there. Scott is asking about OneUp, and I'll tell you, Scott, I am familiar with OneUp, but I have not done my homework. I guess it's one of those things. I do it because it's, I stick to what I know. So for now, it's Top Step. Scott brings up a good point that, there are a lot of companies out there. I call them prop firms. A lot of prop firms out there that are willing to, put up the money for, for good traders. Because I mean, you could be the best trader in the world, but if you don't have any capital, well, where do you go? Scott, I'd like to talk to you about that, because that's the one thing I've heard. I've heard about their stops and their trailing and all that other good stuff. So that sounds, yeah, no, I will. I definitely will. Because I mean, there's many of them out there. But my thing is, I don't know, like I said, Top Step, I know them. I know those guys, and I'm just gonna stick to what I know for right now. Oh, let's see here. Let's open up a new one here, and I'll get my, what's his name up here? Da, 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 da. There it is. So what I'll do is I want to go over a couple of the rules that they have you follow, so on and so forth.
Yeah, that's a good idea, because I know a lot of people have always been interested in Top Step.
Right. So I mean, these are the rules that they give you are pretty basic. When I first started with these guys, I'll tell you what, in my mind, I thought it was impossible. I mean, the stuff that they wanted you to do, they wanted you to hit all these goals, and then, they wanted you to be able to, train your cat to change channels on the TV for you while standing on your head with one hand, so on and so forth. It was really difficult. I mean, I'm exaggerating, of course, but one of the things that they would do is they'd say, okay, well, we're gonna, we want your winning trades. We want you to be in them longer than your losing trades. And I mean, it just, some of this stuff was just absolutely, oh, I just thought it was crazy. So I thought it's gotten a lot easier. So for starting out on a combine here, you've got to trade a minimum of 5 days, 50K combine. You've got to hit the $3,000 profit target, can't exceed their $1,000 daily loss limit. And in this case, I'm not allowed to trade more than 5 contracts at a time. For the room, well, and for me in general, you're going to see me pretty much trading with 2, sometimes 3 contracts at a time, but for the most part, it's going to be 2. You can't have a trailing balance below 48. Now, as you profit, that number climbs. And then, of course, you're only allowed to trade permitted products, which, of course, the Nasdaq, well, that's a permitted product to trade. But haven't started anything yet. I called those guys on Friday. I had them reset me. Kind of wanted to stay above board, start on 0, and just we'll see what happens. We'll see how I do. All right. Okay. So Aspen looks like she's with Combine. Still working on it. Okay, and most of the time you're breaching their daily limit. Well, Aspen, hopefully we can work on that together, maybe, and see what we can do. We'll see what we can do. But that's kind of the general gist of what I'm gonna try to be doing in here. So the way I work things, I mean, I tell you, the only dumb question really is the question that you don't ask. I mean, if you have questions, ask. If I don't know what the answer is, I'll make Eric answer it. But but it's really I'm pretty open about my background, and really there's no question that's off limits. There's really no question that's off limits. So it looks like we got about 22 people in here. Maybe I can hear from some of you guys. Maybe I've got some old friends in here still, like Mr. Coleman, and like to meet some of you new guys as well. I mean, and don't whatever you do, just don't hesitate to ask any question. And it's like, if you wanted to keep it just between us, we can do that. One of the things that I'm going to do, I've been working with Ron. Now, Eric, are you still with me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Do they know who Ron is?
No.
Okay. So yeah, Ron is Ron is more or less he's one of the members here at Indicator Warehouse, and one of the things that I'd like to open back up again is the line of communication. So in the future here, I think I'm going to make some phone calls available for you guys if you want to chat for a few minutes. It really that was one of the things I always liked about working with other traders is it helps me to talk to you guys, and hopefully I can help you. So that's about the size of it. That is about the size of it. See if I have any other questions here. And Scott, I'm going to ping you here in the next day or two. I want to hear about One Up. I definitely want to hear about those guys. I mean, they're all different, but the thing is, it's like if you can do, if you can follow their rules, then I tell you, you can definitely trade. One thing you will find about me, I'm very, very careful during the open. Eric is truly the master of the open.
Just because I avoid it.
I'll tell you what, you are the master of the open. I'm I sometimes I'll wait, sometimes I'll take them off the open. It just depends. It just depends. So
yeah, I've never been a big fan of trading off the open, but if it looks like there's some momentum there, I'll go for it. But yeah, it can be dicey. I know. Opening range
Yeah,
is
no,
almost expired.
it definitely can be. It definitely can be. So, but yeah, now Aspen, how long have you been doing Top Step? How much time have you spent with a combine? I'll tell you the other thing too, this is one business. I mean, I'm full of little one-liners. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, over trading. I get it. All right, so now, Aspen, now that you've said that, over trading, I tell you, this is the only business in the world. You know, I mean, some of you guys, maybe you are engineers, maybe you're accountants, maybe you're salespeople, maybe you're, garbage men. Let's not leave them out. Most jobs, the more you work, the harder you work, the more you get out of it. This business it's the exact opposite. It's the exact opposite. I found the key in the past that worked for me was when I reached a point where I was at my daily loss limit, and if it was a sizable number and looking at it upset me, made me angry, what have you, sometimes it's best to just walk away because you can always come back the next day. Tomorrow's another day. The other thing, this is always going to be here. These charts have been running on my PC now for about probably about 2 months now. Every day, periodically, I'm in and out of my house, and I can come in at 1 o'clock and I can see, well, look, there's a move developing. I can come in at 10 o'clock in the morning. Oh, look, there's a move developing. So yeah. It's
Yeah, you're right.
discipline.
It's that fear of missing out that always makes people seem to jump back in when they shouldn't.
No, it does. It does. And one of the rules that I adhere to is this: is the money that you've lost, that money is never coming back. Okay. And when I say that money, meaning that money for that trade, it's not. You won't technically get that back ever. It's impossible. All you can do is look forward, look to your next trade, and make the best decision that you possibly can. So that's the best you can do. That's the best. So looking at things right now here, looks like we're headed a little bit eastward here after our morning explosion that we've managed to have here. Definitely have an upward bias for the day so far. Although it looks like we might be getting some transition if we look at our Raptor here. Looks like it's tried here. We broke through here, and then we've tried again, and I think we're just going to be kind of headed eastward here for a little bit. So the key here with stuff like this, it's to just have the patience, and it's just wait and see what it has to offer you. I don't know. People talk to me about discipline, trading psychology, patience, and I tell you what, as traders, we know what those words mean more than about 95% of the people that are on this planet. So the key here is going to be patience. Let's see, what's my hawk looking like here? Uh-oh, I got to fix my hawk. So let me show you what I look at as far as when I look at stuff on my screen here. I do the majority of my entries with my hawk. I like the surgical entry. And I like that it really helps me, maintain and cut back and control the risk. So now, is everybody in here, are all you guys bird owners? Do you own one? Do you own them all? Tell me a little bit about you, so I can kind of see where we're at. Okay, Ron Anderson's got, okay, full DTS. Nice. Got them all. Now, are you guys all on NT8 or NT7 still? Okay. Yeah, and I am operating with NT8, as that's what, Ron has asked me to use. I do, I don't know. NT8 is, I just put NT8 on here probably 3 months ago. It was a little bit of getting used to.
It does take some getting used to.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of getting used to. I mean, it's like last night, Eric, like this here, one of my favorite things. So as we all know, the contracts are going to roll over here. I mean, it's going to start sometime in December. I have yet to figure out how to load up a March E-mini Nasdaq contract yet, so I can
I know.
compare the volume.
Yeah. It's I can't figure out why they had to make the changes, but they did, and so
Yeah, it's always
we're
something, you know.
there's always something, yeah.
It's always something, and it's not for our benefit.
No.
Ron, you've resisted Ninja for 6 years. What's going on with that? I've used a lot of different trading platforms. I tell you honestly, some of them, it's been so long I can't even remember the name of them. One of them I remember, Market Delta. They were pretty decent charts, but they're very expensive. Very few add-ons you can do with those as well. All right, what do we got going on here? We are headed east. I'm going to give this thing just a few minutes here to kind of try to work itself out. Looks like we're reaching for that high again. One more time here. I'd frankly like to see it break this high here and then do a pullback. So one of my philosophies with DTS, and please keep in mind that I've stared at these bars for literally thousands and thousands of hours. I know how they move. I know how they behave. I'll give you an example. If I wanted to say take this trade, actually this one I probably would have taken right here had I had a little bit more upward momentum. But you'll see me a lot of times, you'll see me use buy and sell limit orders. I mean, my thought is this: if I'm willing to take the trade here, if I can get a better price on it, manage my risk better, maybe shorten that stop up just a little bit, you know what, I can certainly use a limit order to go ahead and jump in. Now, do I always do that? No.
All right, guys. Ray, if you got everything under control, I'm gonna duck out.
Yeah, go ahead. And then Eric, if you would please, tomorrow morning, let's just make sure I can get in.
Yep.
And if not, we'll figure it out from there.
We'll figure something out. All right. Have a great time with everyone.
I will.
Tomorrow.
I will.
Okay.
We're gonna have a ball. We're gonna break out some beer. So a little bit more about me. And Eric, thank you so much. You have a good day, sir, and I will see you in the AM.
All right. See you tomorrow.
All right. Take it easy. So a little bit more about me. I am located in Denver, Colorado. I actually live in Westminster. It's kind of like a suburb where I live. All right. Where are most of you guys at? Where's everybody at? What part of the country? While we watch this thing and see what it's going to do, we are definitely headed east here on a lot of this. Let's see. So Aspen, I did TST for, oh gosh. Yeah, before I got out of the business, I did it for a couple of months. I did it for a few months, and then I've been back with them now for about a month. All right, Ron's in Prescott. All right, Tom, Philadelphia. Are you a Birds fan? Go Birds, baby. Go Birds. That's originally where I'm from. It ain't going to be Go Broncos. They blew up the Broncos hotline on Channel 7 News today, and it wasn't very positive. I feel bad for those guys. All right, Jeff's in Washington, Michigan. Okay, Keith, you're in Farmington now. Okay. Noak's in Boston. All right. Ron, go Chiefs. Yeah, that was an ugly game, I'll tell you what. It was an ugly game. Daniel's in Czech Republic, in Prague. That was one of the coolest things about doing this when I worked with IW before, which is dealing with people all over the world. It was a pretty cool thing. So what I'm keeping an eye on here is this. I'm watching my hawk here, and I can see that, you know, we're definitely bunched up, as I like to say. Looking at the bigger picture, we're starting to kind of clog up here. Definitely see some clogging here on the Falcon, and then my Eagle. Eagle's probably the best picture to use, but it's definitely we're not heading anywhere just yet. All right, up in Edmonton, up in Canada. So the key to it is, it's like this. I mean, you don't have to do anything. Like I said, this is the kind of business, the more you do, in my opinion, the worse off you're going to be. I learned that from a guy named Steve Ira Present. Steve is a trading psychologist. And when I first met Steve, you know, he asked me, you know, well, how many hours are you working? And I mean, at one point in my life, I'd spend about 10 hours a day with this stuff. And he said to me, oh, you know, you must be making millions of dollars. It's like, no, Steve, actually, I'm losing my butt. And, you know, that's when he had kind of pointed out, and I kind of redirected how I thought about trading. I thought, you know, he's right. You know, the less you do, you know, the better off you are. The better off you are. So we'll just sit here patiently, and we will wait for this thing to kind of iron out. Now, I see that Eric's developed some new setups that, you know, have, you know, basically happened and since before, you know, since I've been gone. So we'll just sit here and we will just kind of watch this puppy. Dun, 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 dun. We were getting some signals here that are developing, but I'll tell you what, it is awfully sloppy through here. Awfully sloppy. Yeah, I am using the TST Rhythmic platform, Aspen. I will be using their platform. Close that out here. You know, I tell you, Jeff, FOMC, so I don't worry about the days leading up to FOMC as much as I worry about an FOMC day. FOMC days can be very, very dicey, which obviously you know. And you'll find that on those days, I'm very, very careful. Some days on FOMC, I will not trade at all. That is definitely the hairiest of the days. Let's see. And Nook, hopefully I'm saying your name right. That is for my bar on that guy. I have got an 8, I believe. Oh no, I'm sorry. I just set these up for you guys. I've got my charts over right here on the left screen. I got to change that real quick. Let's change that guy. Let's make that an 8. And I recommend the default settings. That's what it's been tested with, and you know, that's just what I use. All right, Ron is asking me, what do I use for a criteria for entry? So what I like to do, Ron, is I use all the birds. All the birds used together, I mean, you really get a full picture. And when I say all the birds, I'm talking about the hawk, the falcon, and the eagle. So by looking at what I'm seeing right here, you know, it definitely, we're in an uptrend. We're definitely here with an uptrend here with our falcon as well. Really, I kind of like everything to line up. I mean, ideally, what I like to see is everything. I mean, and if it looks like there's going to be a transition in the market, ideally, I like to see, you know, okay, it looks like we're having a transition here. We're crossing into the cloud. You know, same thing, and that's what I use my Raptor for. And I do make entries off my Raptor, by the way. But, you know, I'm looking, like in this case, if the market's going to drop, I'm looking for the transition to happen here. I'm looking for it to happen here first, here, and then I'm looking for it here on my hawk. One of the other things I watch for, Ron, and it comes down to the pure excitement and all that awesome boredom that comes with this business. is I look for the power of the move. I really look for the power of the move. Let's here, let me do this. Let's open that puppet. There it is. There it is right there. So we'll step back here and we can see that this is a pretty strong uptrend on our hawk. Pretty strong trend. Some good entries though. We had some good entries here early this morning. One of my more popular entries is the first cross. Power move like this. I wait for the pullback. Great entries here at the signals right here. I'll tell you another great entry I love to use on the hawk. I love using this macro trend line. I use the daylights out of that thing. If we've got like a solid up or a downtrend, I'm going to be looking for, even if I miss the move, I'm going to be looking for that first connection here to the macro trend line, whether it be a long or whether it be a short. You know, that's a lot of it too. You'll find that, I don't know, for me, DTS is the ultimate in visual price action. That's really what it comes down to for me. Oh, let's see if we can scratch one off here today, see what we get. I really need something a little bit more solid than what I'm seeing right now. So like for something like this, if I'm going to trade in the slop, I mean, and granted, you know, we've got to have all those parameters in place. Everything should line up. You know, the trade should make sense. I tell you what, the safer entries here on the macro trend line after we see signals, of course. But for right now, it doesn't look like we're really doing anything. You know, Jeff brings up a really, really good point about FOMC. You are correct. FOMC weeks are definitely a little bit different than any other weeks. Where's everybody getting their news from? Where are you guys getting your news from? Let's see here. I personally, I like Forex Factory. So I personally like that one there. And you can just kind of move through it and, you know, see, you know, day to day. I think they go out a couple of weeks. Yeah, here it is right here. FOMC. Let's make sure is my clock right on this thing because sometimes it changes itself. No, that's correct. Yeah, FOMC looks like here noon on Wednesday. Ooh, FinViz, that's a good one. That's a good one. And I'd say another thing, Ron, for the most part, I keep circling back to your question. A lot of the entries that I make, are based on, you know, the original setups and rules that, you know, that Eric developed. Anybody here like to gamble? Any gamblers, card players, slot machines, what have you? I don't care. I don't care if you play the lottery. Couple of other things that you'll see me do here is you will see me adjust my contract size. If I see a trade that fits the criteria, however, I mean, let's face it, it just comes down to, I hate to say this, guys, it's true though. Sometimes it comes down to feel, you know, what you see, how's it feel? You know, I mean, we've had these choppy moves right here, you know, and there's two ways around this. If you're going to make, I mean, typically, let's say you're a 2-3 lot trader, that's fine. Not that strong of a pattern here. I mean, it's been a little weak. You know, maybe instead of using 3, you know, maybe, or if you want to, you know, make the trade in sim, you know, that'll make you feel better. Or if you really got to do it, maybe adjust the number of contracts. You know, back it down. Back it down. Oh my God, Pam. Oh my God, how have you been? I will, Pam, I will. I will. So it looks like you've been away for a little while as well. And guys, I promise tomorrow morning we're going to be a little more trade focused than we have been today. Just kind of there's what we're looking for right there. All right, come on back, baby. Come on back. Come on back. All right, so here's one right here, and this is one of the ways that like Eric and I were talking about fear of missing out. You know, oh my God, I missed my move right here. Well, you know, if I was willing to take it there, you know, maybe I'm willing to take it here at my micro line. You know, as long as I've got the signal and as long as I've got everything lining up, that's all I'm really concerned with. Not a real huge move through the high of the day, though, looking at the eagle. Oh, you've been working hard too there, it looks like, Pam. Yeah, I'll definitely reach out. I'll definitely reach out and keep popping in. Keep popping in. So I use an ATM strategy, by the way, guys, for my combine. Typically 2 and 3. I make the adjustments just right here. You know, and this is one of them right here where we didn't have a huge breakout, like I said. It's not a huge move up here on the eagle. But needless to say, I mean, it's still lining up. Even these were some decent entries right here. If you really wanted to get in early, for me, I tell you, maybe a 1 lot down here on the macro line, maybe a 1 lot, and just keep that loss tight. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to throw one on this one here. I'm a little high. I'm a little high. All right. But not high like I'm in Denver and weed's legal, okay? No weed. Don't ask me to send you any weed. All right, so one of the things too, now that I'm in this guy right here, I'll tell you, logically, my next profit target, I don't really bother with 2-to-1, 3-to-1 ratios, things like that. Logically, the next place for this to stop would be this SNR line. If you don't own the SNR suite, I'll tell you what, it's pretty, I really like it. I really like it. So if I were trading 3 lots, say on this trade right here, hang on, I don't want to bunch it up too much. I want you to be able to see it. Well, it is good. Okay. So typically I would pull 2 lots off right in this area right here, maybe right at it, maybe just below it where I'm at right now. And then I would move my other target out here. Now, will I get there? I don't know. I don't know. And I'm just going to give it a little, I'm not going to give it a whole lot of room to breathe, but I'm going to give it a little bit right here. So right here, I'm at my macro line right there. And, you know, I'm just going to sit and wait and see what happens. We'll see if we grab that target. Another signal right there. And I mean, ideally, I tell you, if with the bounce and the pullback, I mean, I use the macro line and I use the micro line for entries all the time, all the time. Let's see what we get out of this puppy right here. All right, now that I've moved quite a bit here, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to bring this. I'm going to protect right there. Remember, yeah, we've all heard it 1,000 times. You know, keep your losses small and make your winners big. And you know, I tell you, easier said than done. Easier said than done. And hopefully, you guys will learn that from me. You'll watch me. I mean, pay attention. I mean, one of the things you'll notice that when I get started. I'm going to get, you know, you're going to see that I'll be extremely focused. And that's all I'm going to focus on. All right, boom. So with that one right there, I mean, I saw the power. I saw the speed. I could see it in the Ronco bars. Okay. Logical profit target, like I said, right up here at SNR. Now, will it blow through? You know, will it pull back? I mean, we don't know yet. We don't know. You've just got to wait and see what it does. Unfortunately, only my cat Oliver knows where the market is heading, and he isn't talking. So but not bad, not bad. And like I said, I felt, you know, I mean, where we were coming from right here, it's like, see, maybe you'll ask, why did he only trade one contract? He could have traded 3 or 2 or what have you. Coming out of what I see right here, just all this just wishy-washy sideways action. You know what? You know, it's like playing cards. You know, you might think you have a good hand, but you know what? You don't want to go all in with just a mediocre hand. And you know, this is mediocre price action right here. So you know, I'll back it off to 1. You know, I don't know. Anybody that complains about a winner is crazy. They sell them on the site. They sell them on these are Eric's SNR lines. These are Eric's. These things, I'll tell you what, they're the bomb. They're awesome. I love these things. And typically what I use them for profit targets. And I'll tell you the other thing too is, you know, we stopped here. We stopped here. Okay. And then we start moving up. Logically, if it's going to head up, it's going to head up here. And that's how I use them. You know, that's how I use them. I mean, typically, I mean, we bounced. Well, the next logical place is up, and that was my profit target. Now, if I had say a 3 lot on, 2 would have came off here, I'd still be sitting in this trade, probably at break even, and putting my 3rd profit target up here at about 81, you know, 81.39. I like to be a few ticks below it. So, but yeah, that's the ultimate support and resistance that we offer. Very, very helpful, very, very handy. I mean, that's what I use them for. I use them for profit targets. You know, and now when price, like here's a great example. I'm gonna blow that puppy back up again, y'all. Boom, boom, boom. There it is. All right. So, you know, here's my entry right here. Here's my entry right here. Ideally, if price climbs above that, then I'm going to start looking to that for my stop and for support. But, you know, always nice to have some space, you know, some room to move. Let's see what we had on the overnights here. Yeah, I get a great example right here. We had room to move here. What time are we at? Well, we're a little like this here. I probably wouldn't have taken this close to the open. I wouldn't have taken this one this close to the open. This one here, you know, I may have taken that trade. I may have been in that trade at the open, but who knows when it opened? I could have gotten stopped here. I wouldn't have, but you know, who knows with the open because it's so crazy. But here we move. We blast up above that SNR line right now. We pull right back to it. And, you know, in this case, I mean, I use the macro line a lot for trailing stops. I use it quite a bit. So, you know, up, pull back, blast off, and then we continue to move. We continue to move, but like in this case here, if I was hanging on to this for the long haul, at a minimum, I would have been taken out here realistically. If I was using the stop, I would have been taken out here. So that's primarily what I use those guys for. They're pretty handy. You'll get to see those in action. I mean, tomorrow morning when I come in and get started, we're gonna get busy. We're gonna get busy. Yeah, Ron, that Hawk's the bomb for entries. I'll tell you, I don't base my decisions on that one bird, but I'll tell you what, for entries, you know, I use the daylights out of that thing. I use the daylights out of it, and you know, and I'll switch from chart to chart sometimes. I mean, really, what I'm hoping to show you guys is some trades that we just sit in for a while. Yeah, the 100 EMA, that's a good one. That's another thing too. Don't be afraid to put your own twist on this, guys. Don't be afraid to put your own twist on it. Let me show where I had a longer trade. Let me find it. I just did it a couple of days ago. Let me find it. Let me find it. Let's just blow that up because it's not going to be today. Let me find it. You know, I saw this last night when I turned everything on, and I'll tell you, I was kind of wondering if we were going to fill that, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Oh, did I do it Thursday or Friday? Da, 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 da. Oh, where did it go? Oh, here it is right here. Yeah, this was one of my set it and forget it trades right here. Oh no, wait, this is the trade my daughter did. So I have an 11-year-old daughter. And you know, she's asked about this for years, and finally I've started showing her, and yeah, she trailed it all the way up here following the macro line, and we got KO'd on that one there. Oh, where did my set it and forget it trade go? Oh man, I had a good one too. It was a really good one. Dagnabbit, what did I do with it? So let me ask you this. Let me ask everybody. I mean, typically, when do you guys start? When do you stop trading? How many hours a day is everybody spending with this? I look for it. Yeah, Aspen, I would recommend not spending all day with it. This can be really bad for your mental health. I'll tell you the best thing that I ever did, and I told you about the guy that I worked with. He's extremely expensive, but boy, I'll tell you, I mean, it changed my life, literally, my personal life. One of his deals was to work with me. He's like, you're not allowed to look at a chart for 2 weeks. And I tell you, it was hard. You know, it was hard. It was like, you know, quitting alcohol or drugs. Yeah, and Ron, what I do is I do off and on all day. It depends on when I'm home. Nice, nice, Ryman. Good times, good times. 9:30 to 11 is perfect. That's perfect. That's gonna drive me bonkers. I can't find that trade. It was a sim trade, and I've reset it a couple of times in there. Oh, here it is, I think. Yeah. Yeah. So, like I was talking to you about, so here's my entry right here. I made my entry right here, and you know, first 2 targets I took off in between, and then the last target I set up here, you know, a little bit of a distance below my SNR line right there. And then, of course, as we see, it still continued to move on, but then again, it petered out. But yeah, this trade here was I call it the Ronco trade. I don't know if you guys have seen the chicken cooker that Ronco makes. It's you put the chicken in, and then the commercial is, and the whole audience, they'll go, oh, set it and forget it. That's really what I try to do. It's really what I try to do here. Yeah, cold turkey to quit, Pam. It's a toughie. But ideally, you know, that's what you want to do. Now, in this case with this trade here, I was not here to monitor it, so I wasn't able to trail the stop. But once you know, once it reached its first profit target, or even first profit target, then I'd be looking to go break even, maybe follow the macro lineup, or, you know, I mean, in this case with the entry where it was, you know, I can protect, you know, 10 or 20 ticks, and it's still going to work out to my profit target. So yeah, I like to try for some of the bigger moves. Yeah, look where it bounced here off of SNR. I wouldn't be looking to do anything long with this until until it establishes itself, I should say, up here above this SNR line. So just one of the tools I use, just one of the tools. And again, let's keep an eye on the other birds and see what we're looking like here. Yeah, we're definitely in an uptrend. Definitely in an uptrend. How long does Eric typically stay in here with you guys? I don't always get to stay in here with him for the full amount of time. Okay. So yeah, I might extend things out a little. So on certain days I have my daughter here. I've got to run her to school. If I've got to run my kid to school, I will let you know. It takes me all of about 10 or 12 minutes. Then I'll come back and we'll continue. So. See, I'm looking to up the time a little bit, Ron. I am looking to up the time a little bit. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to press 8106.50 again or not. Let's see here. We are getting some signals here. A bit of an early signal on the Falcon. It's a nice signal we had here on Raptor. This is what I mean when I say everything's lining up. I'm really looking for that. So Dan, Eric and I are going to trade off every other week. Yeah, we're going to trade off every other week. You're going to see that we each have a different style. We each do things differently. And, nobody's more right than the other. What I really like to teach is I like to teach people how to make their own decisions. And you guys will find that I talk to myself a lot. I talk to my trade. It's pretty, yeah. Anyway, we'll have some fun. We'll have some fun. Tell you what, a Raptor had some nice entries all along here. I'm not interested after the yellow bars, but as we start to blue up a little bit, nice entry here. I mean, we would have suffered a little bit while it headed east, but we did climb. Is Eric going to start his career as a jazz radio station DJ? No, actually, Scott, Eric is he's in a death metal band. They mainly do cop killer songs, and he plays lead guitar. I'm kidding. But yeah, it's funny. It's funny. Do I think that the $1,000 daily loss limit is enough to trade? Aspen, that's a good question. That's a really good question. I think it is. I think it is enough, and it's all in how you look at it. It really is. It really is. So let's take this number. Let's take this number right here that we did. So this was just a 20 tick trade. Okay, and I made $100. Now this is for sim. This wasn't a combine trade because I'm already distracted. But tomorrow will be a little bit different story. This is it's $100. Okay, with one contract. So what if we had two contracts? Then it'd be $200. Three contracts, it'd be $300. Now, actually, for me, maybe it would be more, maybe it would be less because I'm shooting for bigger profit targets. But just for argument's sake, let's just say with the 20 tick profit target. I mean, it's all in how you look at it. It really is. It's all in how you look at it. And if you think about it, so I mean, I don't know how the cost of living is every place else. Here in the Denver metro area, the cost of living absolutely, positively sucks eggs. So looking at it for me with the big picture, I'll tell you what, if I can make $300 to $400 a day, okay, that's enough. That's enough. Now we've got to keep everything in check. We've got to keep the balances in there, and we're going to have to mind our losses as well. You know, we've got to mind our losses as well. So if you think about it, for $1,000 a day for a loss limit, let's do. And Aspen, if you don't mind, what size is your combine? It's a 50, I would assume, correct? Okay, okay. Well, here's the thing. So you're doing 100. You know, here's the thing about it. Now with 100, I think you get a bigger loss limit, don't you? What's the loss limit on 100? Hang on, hell. There we go. TST. Oh, where is it? Let's get rid of the dashboard here. There we go. Okay, yeah, I was going to say I thought it was 2,000. So let's do this. Let's take $2,000. Okay, that's a lot of money. You know, let's just be real about it. You know, you divide that into 100,000. I think that's yeah, that is how you do it. You know, I mean, that's where you want to keep your losses. You want to keep them small. You know, and the thing about it is, it's like don't be in a hurry to finish it. Don't be in a hurry. Slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. Ooh, I like that, Scott. I like that. First, copy the rules of the combine into how you trade your sim. Once you beat the sim combine rules in your sim, then buy a combine and don't sim to sim. Only trade sim with combine rules. Amen, brother. So that's another thing too. And I forget what book I got this out of. I mean, it was a deal. Oh, crud. There we got a transitional move. Oh, well, we're busy gabbing about more important stuff for this. Treat your simulator like you would treat your live account. If you have a live account and you only have $5,000 or $10,000, then go into NinjaTrader and set your sim account up so it's $5,000 or $10,000. Because if it's set up with 100, you're not going to get a realistic result. Oh yeah, no video game. You're right, Scott. So many gamers, so many. All right, Aspen, how many contracts are you trading on the 100? Oh, that was a nice transitional move. I wish I was watching. Oh, I'm sorry. Tomorrow we'll be watching. Okay, good, good. I would suggest sticking with 2. I would suggest sticking with 2. You know, to me, it's a slow and steady wins a race. Let's take a look at this and see what we had if we had a trade. I think yeah, a little early. We're still breaking through the cloud here, the cloud here. Did not get it. Well, nah, that's way too early of a signal for a Falcon because it's green. Yeah, don't get mad at it because you know what? It doesn't care. It really doesn't. It's an inanimate object. It does not care. It's like I don't know. It's like my cat. He just doesn't care. You know, and he gets mad at a lot of stuff. I'm gonna have to straighten him out. But yeah, the key is to try to, you know, I figure this way, the market doesn't care what's going on with me, and therefore I don't care about it. You know, I mean, it's just a neutral relationship. But that's the name of the game. It's just gaining control on it and just being okay with it. You got to be okay with it. You know, I'd have days when I was doing combines. I had days when I was trading my own accounts. It's like, okay, you know, I'm down $300-400 bucks, you know what? That's enough. It's time to get up and walk away. Okay? It's time. It's time to get up and walk away from it. You know, or you profit targets. I didn't hit my profit target. You know what? If I'm feeling anxious, maybe it's time to walk away for the day. I made money, you know, and some days I make more than what my profit target, you know, is. Yeah, here's one right here with the first cross right here. This would have been an ideal, even with that yellow bar. Even with that yellow bar, we still had we could have had a trade with that one right there. Now, here's the thing with this trade here. If I were to have taken this trade here, I'm not going to be going for the gold on this one here. I'm going to be looking for profit targets down here, right on that moving average right there. Now watch us pull up and blast through that high again. I've noticed lately it's been doing that a lot. It'll trick you. It'll get you in there, and then if you're hanging on to it, you know, it just blows you right out of there. This is super early transition right here. Now keeping an eye on our Falcon off here to the lower left. We could have a possible short right there. All right, so speaking of this guy right here, let's blow that puppy up. All right, so now one of the things we have right here, does everybody know how to draw support and resistance as far as the world according to Ray support and resistance? This is how I do it. We stop here, we stop here, you know, we fall through, we travel up, but then we drop down and we stop here. So guess what we have right here? This is how I do my manual support and resistance. In order for support and resistance to establish itself, for that line to establish itself, it has to, like in this case for a long, it has to stop, it has to pass through, pull back, and then stop again. Now it becomes valid support and resistance. Otherwise, if you just use all the recent active highs and lows, oh, I don't want that. What did I just do? Oh, I'm reloading the Ninja script. I'm sorry, I pressed F5. There we go. So F6, if you're using recent active highs and recent active lows, you know, this is what it's going to look like. Okay, I mean, it's just it's ridiculous. So I mean, you can just go nuts with this if you like, but you see what I mean. So anyway. But yeah, learn that one there with your support and resistance. Practice it. I spent a lot of money on that, and I'm happy to share it with everybody. But yeah, I'm looking forward to working with you guys. I don't know, maybe we'll do different stuff for Friday. You know, think of any questions you want to ask, any psychological stuff. You'll hear me say a lot of times, and you know, Ask been backing up to I'm going round and round here. As far as stopping what you're doing, it's I don't know. I always like to say that trading is a lot like alcoholism. You know, it's a lot of control you need. You gotta know when to quit. I mean, it's the same kind of thing. And we're all, if any of you guys have been doing this for any amount of time, let's just face it, we all know we're different. We're all different. Scott, he's a great drinker. Aren't we all, Scott? Aren't we all? Ron is asking me what were the top 3 things that I learned from the psychologist that I dealt with. I'll tell you what, probably the best thing I learned, Scott, was I learned that I learned how to lose. I learned how to lose. I learned how to be okay with it. You know, hence I got rid of the anxiousness. Um, you know, I think the second thing that I learned is I'm not, you know, I'm not my trades, you know, and probably the third biggest thing that I learned from him was I keep my trading to myself. I don't talk with people outside of this community much about it because frankly, it's bad for your mojo, your psyche, what have you. Yeah, no, I can talk about the SNR again. Absolutely, absolutely. I'll tell you what, guys, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take a 5-minute break here real quick, and I'm gonna be right back. Speaking of bad habits, I need to go out and have mine real quick. But give me 5 minutes. I'll be right back, and then we'll talk more about that SNR. So I'll be right back. Oh, Scott, I get it. Yeah, you share good results in it. Yeah, you jinxed it. You jinxed it. I'll be back in just a couple of minutes, guys. Good boy, Meat. You stay where you're at. All right. Okay, I am back. Swap my gongs here. All right, let's see. Yeah, no, Scott, I don't talk about my trading with people. They just don't get it. Pam took off. Let's see. Not going to be talk about the SNR. Okay, well, let's do that. Let's do that. And I only use it on the hawk. I only use it on the hawk because that's where I set my stops, my profit targets, so on and so forth. So, you know what? Let me think here how the best way to do this. All right, let's go ahead. You know what? I'm gonna pump this thing up. Well, no, let's use the eagle. Let's use this. Let's do. Well, we'll start small and then we'll go big. Then we'll go big with it. Okay, so I'm gonna scrunch this guy down here. Oh, this is a great day to demonstrate it. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So of course, you know, we're into the overnights right here. We're into the overnights. We see this first pop, you know, that we get right here at about 2 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. I've got my entry set here, you know, with my signals wherever they are. There, you can't see them, of course, because I got it mushed up. I've got my support line. I've got it right here. Okay. I've already backed up here. I've dropped. I've popped. I've pulled through. I've stopped at SNR. So here's a long trade. I take it. Now, do I get to my next line on that trade? No, absolutely not. I drop back through. I pop back up, down again. We're stopping. And keep in mind with SNR, you're not going to stop. You're not going to stop on, it's not, you know, to the tick stop on the SNR. I don't know anything that's really that good. This is pretty good. You know, you see where we stop and, you know, we make our entry. I'm going to make my entry somewhere up in here. Ideally for that particular trade, I would have taken it. If you want to go with the signals, which is fine, nothing wrong with that. If you want to go with the signals, I mean, and let me tell you, if you want to go with the signals, let me preface that. So once it's done this and it's pulled back to my macro line, I'm looking for it to move up. Okay, and I'm looking for a signal anyway. Well, if I'm willing to take it here, I'm willing to take it down here at the macro line. Okay, so we've got two signals right here, both good entries. Right after the first cross on the hawk, pretty high probability trade. I'm going to try to take it a little bit lower. So initially, let's just say we use this right here. All right, here's our SNR right here, knock. And my first logical target, and really there's two, I'm going to base it on this high back here for a first logical target, or if you really want to go for broke, you can base it on this one right here. Okay, we pop, we pull back once again. Now our next logical place it's going to stop is going to be up at this line right here. Now, will it get there? Maybe it will, maybe it won't. In this case here, it would have taken me out. It would have taken me out. Or if I was protecting below that line, I mean, it's up to you. It's really up to you how long you want to sit in the trade. Now, this is the trade that I took here in the room. Eventually, it reaches that mark right there. That's what I use them for. You know, you can use it for, and like you notice with that target there, I'm a few ticks below it. I'm a few ticks below that SNR line. I mean, I could have used it as a stop right here and just left it sit. I mean, it's really up to you. It's really up to you. And the thing about it is we can't control what the market's going to do. We just don't know. I mean, would it have gotten to that line? I don't know. It did, but I mean, I can't say whether it will or whether it won't. If I'm placing a trade, oh boy, I would have been up all night for that one, all the way back. Well, no, I wouldn't have been up all night, but yeah, well, I would have had to have made that around around 5:45 Mountain Standard Time. But that's how I use them. And what I've learned to do, and I guess this is probably the fourth thing that I learned from the shrink that I worked with over the phone, Ron, is it's just, you know what, you just got to let go. You really got to let go. That might even be the number one thing. And not just letting go with the trade, but letting go with, crap in your life. I mean, a little more about me personally. Married twice. I've got a child with my second wife. Didn't take that very well, but then again, I never know anybody who really does. Just being able to let that stuff go, So, yeah, I think we're going to hem and haw up around this here for a while. But that's what I use them for. I like using them for profit targets. They've been pretty good. They've been pretty good. Now, do they all hit their target? No, they don't. They don't. But if I can get a runner on 2 or 3, peeling the onion as I climb in the case of a long, then I'm happy with that. I'm happy. I'm happy. This would have been a nice little scalp right here. Nice little scalp, first cross. Same thing again here with this one here. I'm waiting for these signals. I mean, I helped develop this, and I've stared at this stuff long enough that I know what it's, I don't know exactly what it's going to do, but I have an idea. And it's like, well, if I'm looking to take a trade down here, you know what? Maybe I should be willing to take the trade up here and then just maybe use my SNR as my stop. Now, maybe I get stopped out. Maybe it goes my way. You just don't know. You just don't know. But yeah, as we roll forward here tomorrow, guys, I'll get more and more into my philosophy of logical stops, logical profit targets, things like that. How to, bid or ask for break even if you don't think it's going to go your way. Some of those are the worst. I've bid for, or asked for break even, and then the trade actually goes my way. But well, I'll tell you what, if it didn't go my way, would have taken a full stop. So, it's a balance. It's a real balance. There we go. You guys got any other questions for me? Getting ready to wrap it up here and get on with my day. I'm going to go shovel out my car. It's snowing like a son of a gun here. And I'm going to show you guys how I use my depth of market too. I do use a depth of market, but I use it. I don't enter on this thing here, but I'm paying attention to these little numbers right here. I mean, right now we're relatively balanced. The other thing I use it for, I'm looking for fake orders. If I see, 100 orders here at 81.01 and a quarter, I know there's a pretty good chance they're fake. That's just somebody trying to push it up to fill a short position. Game theory is what I call it. So I'll show you how I use that as well. Don't use it a ton, but it can be helpful. It can be helpful. Oh, where's my coffee? Coffee, coffee, coffee. Yeah, so tomorrow morning, I'm going to try to, I'll definitely have everything opened up by about 7:30. It may, maybe a little sooner than that. So, you know, I've used Market Profile in the past, Scott. I've used it in the past, and I've used it in conjunction with, you know, what we do here. And I tell you, I found that for me, it's too much to look at. You know, I think Market Profile is a great tool. Don't get me wrong, but myself, I don't use it anymore. I do not use it. Yeah, it is. It is some strange stuff. That's for damn sure. That is for damn sure. Yeah, I think we're going to have some eastward mobility here for a while here. And I tell you, the only thing you can really do at this point is just sit and wait and see what it's going to do. You guys that saw me do this one right here, I waited. You know, I waited for the move. I waited for it. You know, I saw what happened here. I missed this signal. This was a prime signal right here. This is actually a decent signal back here as well. This one isn't too bad. That was a pretty quick little pop. You got to be watching it. Definitely saw that one, and just got in a little late here, but got my 20 ticks out of it. Yeah, right. And that's all we're looking to do is just bring some fresh perspective to it. You know, I mean, it's one of those things that, you know, love me, hate me, agree with me, disagree with me. I mean, it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And I mean, that's one of the reasons I stepped out a couple of years back. Is it really, you know, as the room grew, we did things a little bit different back then as far as who could get in. It really, after a while, really started to kind of, you know, wreak havoc on the old noodle. So, and it's good to step away. It's good to step away. I mean, if trading is beating you up, if trading is killing you, step away for a week. Come back to it. All this crap will be here for you next week. The day that this stuff is not here waiting for you on a Monday morning, that's going to be the end of Western civilization as you and I know it. You know, it will be. Let's face it. If this all goes away, you know, if something that drastic were to happen, I mean, you know, we're talking, you know, the apocalypse, the Walking Dead, you know, lead will be the most valuable commodity when that happens. But it'll be here. It's always going to be here for you. It's always going to be here. Yeah, hopefully we'll get the perspective down for, you know, not over trading. Don't try to get even with it because, you know, I'm frank a lot. It'll kick your ass. You'll never get even with it, ever. You will lose every single time. Once you have that, I'm going to get even with it now, it's going to kill you. Yes, Scott. Fast moving lead. Fast moving. So yeah, you guys will see that I do things a little bit different than Eric. You know, feel free to chime in with, you know, your thoughts, your opinions. I mean, really, you know, we can look at all of it. We can look at all of it. Yeah, we'll do some trades tomorrow, that's for sure. Yeah, everybody have all their guns. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Ron. Oh my God. No political stuff, okay? None of it. Well, I gotta say, I was pretty thrilled with Mr. Fabulous's tax plan for 2018. It helped me out a ton. It helped me out a ton. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have some fun in here. So yeah, every other week I'll be in here. And you know, I'd like to kind of keep things going at least till about 9:30 when we're in here together. So in the mornings early on, if I don't, you know, get to your questions right away or comments or what have you, just, you know, don't take it personally. It's, you know, trying to focus and, you know, get something good here right out of the gate. Like I said this morning, I'm not a huge fan of the open, but I will do it. I will do it, but I've got to have things set up exactly the way that I want to. And the goal is to do everything, you know, with TST and you know, I'd like to, you know, do a combine in front of you guys, and I'll tell you what, win, lose, or draw, we'll see how it goes, and we'll deal with it as it moves forward. I'll just show you how I do it. Because let's face it, not every day is a winner. And we can sit here and stare at this for hours. This is a good time to get up and walk away. When it's doing this number right here, I mean, this was kind of a sloppy uptrend anyway. This is very sloppy, but if it's doing this, if it's doing this number right here, it's not much there. It's not much to work with. You know, and no matter how much you want it to do something, it's just going to do what it's going to do. All right, guys. I think I'm going to wrap it up here. If there's any more questions, throw them out right now. I'm going to hang out for another minute or two. And then I am going to get out of here. Thanks, Aspen. Let's work on your over trading. Let's see if we can put the kibosh on that. We'll put the kibosh on that. And I mean, it's like I said, trading is a lot like, it's a lot like alcoholism. And well, that's another story. But it really, I'll tell you what, you just, sometimes you gotta just stop and you gotta be okay with it. You are not your trades are not you. Keith, thank you, sir. Yeah, and it is good to be back. It really is. Just when I thought I was out, they dragged me back in. Yeah, Overtrader Anonymous. Yeah, it's the same chemical. It's the same chemicals that drive us to keep doing this. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's an interesting story. It's an interesting story. No, Floyd, I'm going to be around for a while, man. You know what? I took the break that I needed to take. You know, I had what I like to call grown-up jobs for about 5 years. I don't really play well with others. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't play well with others that are, you know, fearful, no common sense, what have you. So I will be around for a while. I mean, I'm just trying to give Eric a break here every other week, and then let's see what we can do with this combine. Let's see what we can do with it. We'll see how we do, and we'll go from there. So, well, all right, my friends, you guys have a great rest of your day. Okay, your Aspen's going to reset on November 1st. Okay. Sounds good. Hey, not a problem, Knock. Not a problem. Let's see here. I tell you, yeah, if you guys want to reach me, I got Ron working on a, let's see. I've got Ron working on a IW email for me. But here's my email. You know, let's do it. Let's do it like this. Let's do a capital R underscore J underscore, no plus sign. So that's my email right there. And I mean, I stay pretty busy throughout the day with a lot of stuff, but I promise I'll get to it and I'll look at it. I will look at it. Well, all right, guys, without further ado, I'm going to take off here. I've got some snow to deal with, and we'll see you guys in the morning, okay? Have a great one.